Hello, hi, this is Chris again, Chat by Chance cross country, and on my way, the last place I was up at, Maggie's Music Farm, met the great folks up there, Mike and Maggie, about the story with the hurricane and everything, and up there, and it's on my last video. I highly recommend you watch that and watch all my videos, of course. Here's my bike, and I'm doing a round the country motorcycle trip. Just to go a quick brief intro. My KLR 650. I started off in Salt Lake City, went up through Canada, worked my way down the eastern side of the United States after going through all west, the Dakotas, all that, and Wyoming, Iowa, Minnesota, went up through Ontario and through Quebec, and came down through Vermont and zigzagged all the way down the country. And then now I am in Dade City, Florida, about midway down through on the western side of Florida. And along this road, I've been out west for a zillion years. I reconnected with some relatives I haven't seen in over 30 years. And this is my first cousin. And here, and his name is Ricky Roberts. And we're down here in Dade City, Florida. Born and raised here, lived all his life. This man is a traveler in himself, folks. He's been all over the world. He and his wife travel frequently, been out west, spent a lot of time in Montana. Regarding the hurricane, he was down at Homestead, a school teacher at that time period of recovery down there. And I go around the country, and I got 8,800 miles on my trip so far. I've been on the road for about 73 days now. I camp along the way, and my video to theme is, it's not the road, it's the people that you meet on the road that counts. And so all my channels, everything, I don't go into scenery and all that. You can Google it if you want to see that stuff. My interest is the people are the greatest adventure in life. So this is the adventure for me, meeting folks on the road and people I meet generally by chance. This one I'm going to make an exception here because such an interesting man, and it's part of my trip. I've seen him over 30 years, and it was kind of by chance, in a lot of ways. So, yeah, I've seen him over 30 years. Lucky I found him, and I found him by chance, so we can call it that. And this is Ricky Roberts, my first cousin here, Dade City, Florida. A lot of heritage here. His parents lived here, and smaller city, ranching community here, Dade City, Florida. Beautiful place. And I've been camping out here, and I spent the night with him in his house, camping out at the Green Swamp Preservation Campground. And Ricky, how are you today there, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. I notice now I'm his cousin, and he starts off with his motorcycle here. Now, what does that tell you here? I should have been first on the show, but no. I'm doing good. Good to see Chris. We had one heck of a talk. We both learned things that we didn't know before, and about our family. And so it's been very interesting, very interesting.
So you're born and raised here, right? And tell us a little about yourself, your life, and what you and your wife do now.
Yeah, I was born in Tampa, okay. And we moved up here, pretty soon after I was born there. I was about 3 or 4, I guess, when we got up here. So we've lived here all our lives, basically. I went to University of Florida, and then went into teaching agriculture. And then I worked with Dad for about 15 years in the oil business, and then went back to teaching and stayed in that for teaching about 23, 24 years. And then I retired, and then life began. So now I do a little woodworking and do what I want to do, And
you do a good bit of traveling. You were up in Montana, all that.
Yeah, oh yeah. We've been to Montana, went to Europe. We took a cruise down the Rhine and saw all that. My wife is from the Philippines, so we spent quite a bit of time over there. I taught a month in China for one summer there through a program we had at the school. And so I was one of the ones that was chosen to go over went to Nanjing and taught school there. And that was really a lot of fun. But we've been all over the United States. We're trying to cover everything. We want to go to Alaska, and we're going to go to Banff for our anniversary. And then just going to try to hit a few more places here.
Well, they certainly treated me well. They fed me twice, gave me a place to sleep. And oh, by the way, too, give us a little bit of background. So your dad, you grew up at a ranch here. I remember as a kid, he had buffalo. I never actually got to see the buffalo, but in this area, the papers and all refer to your dad as Buffalo Bob.
Buffalo Bob, that's right. I made him a sign that said Buffalo Bob's Barn. It was a classic. But yeah, he had, well, we started out raising horses, actually not too far from here. And we just kind of got in it offhand. And then it kept growing and growing. My brother and I kind of did the horses things, and we showed a lot, and we bought and sold horses. And I think it got to be a tax write-off for Dad, so that worked out. But we had horses, and then when I left to college, I was the last one to go off. Then nobody else wanted to take care of all the horses we had, because we got up to somewhere around 30. And so they sold them off when I left. And Dad had all this pasture land and everything out here, so he went out to Oklahoma and bought buffalo. He brought 2 cows and a calf, a male calf, a bull, and they bred, and we ended up with about 10 buffalo. But the old saying there, where the buffalo roam, they kind of roam wherever they want to. So they'd look at a fence and just walk right through it. And so that became a problem here. We had to put them in, give them to somebody else who had a much bigger property than what we had. And because it's kind of scary, the buffalo getting out all the time.
Weren't they like walking in? I heard they were walking downtown Dade City once. Kind of people were concerned. Down Main Street.
A little concerned there that they were walking through town. They thought it was like Cheyenne, Wyoming. But yeah, we were constantly having to put them back in, you know, and they weren't mean. Certainly they were. I had an experience when we were putting the fence up, and in fact, we were putting that sign up that I made for Dad, and I was inside the fence in the pen, and David, my brother, was outside, and David was kind of looking at me, smiling funny, and I said, "What's wrong with this guy?" And so I hear this deep hum, and I said, I turned around, and there was the buffalo, Michael. His head, of course, their head's huge. He said he was standing right behind me. I mean, he was about a foot away. And I turned around and jumped and screamed. And Michael did the same thing. He jumped and screamed. So I jumped back over the fence on the other way, and he ran off. So that was kind of an experience there that kind of got me going, got everything cooking. But they were nice animals, but they didn't want to be around. Dad was really the only one they would go up to, you know. So.
Oh, that's why he got the name Buffalo Bob, I imagine.
Yeah.
I saw a picture in the paper they had of him on the headlines or the front page of the paper in Dade City, and shows your dad sitting down the stoop, and this buffalo, I kid you not, folks, is like 2 feet away from him.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there looking at each other eyeball to eyeball, like that on. And just like you would be somebody, you see somebody sitting with their dog.
Yeah.
And only this thing was enormous. I mean, it was a beast, man. And it was they are the biggest, most magnificent creatures I think I've ever seen.
They were beautiful.
And that was really interesting thing. And as a kid, it was always great fun. Always loved coming up here to the ranch to see all the horses. At that time, I didn't see the buffalo weren't here yet, but saw the horses. You guys had a pig that ran through, your pet pig. And what's the name of that pig?
What was that pig? I don't remember what that one was.
Ellie or something, or was it? Yeah, or I don't remember. But
no, I don't either.
But it was like a family dog.
Yeah.
And it was enormous, and it would just run through the swimming pool area and everything, and just hang out, and you pet it just like you would pet a dog. And then he had all sorts of other creatures up here and critters, and there's a lot of wildlife down here in Dade City, and it was just always fun coming up. Great memories, and I haven't seen these guys. I don't even. It's been well over 30 years.
Been a long time.
And so it's nice to reconnect from them. I've been out west and all, and so I just looked up and showed up on their doorstep. They didn't have a clue I was coming. I was able to find their address on Google, and
we were able to check with our police department and find out who he was, and it sure turned out that he was Ken. I don't know. I hadn't seen Chris in a long time, and I said, Chris Roberts. That's somebody in my family, I guess. And but yeah, we hadn't seen him in a long time, and it's been wonderful to catch up.
It has been. So we stayed up and conversed, and so we were learning things about my granddad that both of us didn't know, and about our parents that both of us didn't know, and a lot of it was surprising.
Yes.
So I didn't know my dad was a pilot. My dad had a pilot's license and flew. I used to paraglide. I had no idea. He never told me he ever flew, and I didn't know he was a pilot, and he helped. Hear Rick get involved with flying.
Yeah.
And so that was something special for me. But it was just amazing reconnecting with people here that I haven't seen. It's like this is your life tour now that I'm down here in this part of the neck of the woods. And I showed up on David, Rick's brother, my other first cousin, his daughters. They weren't home, so I went to his daughter, she's 32 years old. And I never seen her. She was born after I left, and showed up on her doorstep, knocked on her door. She's looking at him like, and the sight of me, my hair's rather long here and stuff, and I'm just knocking on her door, and she's there alone. And I'm saying, oh, yeah, I'm your cousin. And she's looking, I'm like, okay.
Sure you are.
And I had to start name dropping real quick.
Mm-hmm.
But
because she does have guns.
Yeah, she's got a dog, a big dog, and so that was neat. And so I spent last night, the night before last, talking to him, and last night with these guys, and it's been just fantastic reconnecting. Now I'm headed. I'm going to stop back where I lived when I was a small child here a bit in Lakeland, Florida. Look up some friends I had when I was at the age of 5 or 6 and see if they're still around. Then I'm headed down for the Keys and make my way up the coast of Florida there, and I'm going to see some elder relatives and some along the lines here, Rick and that part of the family whom I hadn't seen in over 30 years either. So, but he's going to give them some notice before I show up so they don't have a heart attack or anything.
Not like he did me. So.
But it's been so great this reconnecting. I mean, I had the best time ever sitting with these folks all day. I'm sure I kept them up all night, and these guys get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we must have been up till well after midnight last night. So I hope they're able to make it through the day.
Well, if not, we can always go to sleep. So that's the thing.
And his wife's a very beautiful woman, Belle, and got to meet her I met them briefly at my dad's funeral in 2005,
right.
Just high and by. So that was the last time I saw them, but I spoke to them for about a minute there. But other than that, I haven't seen them since I was a kid, and well over 30 years. And I didn't even know, the status of who was here, who was still alive or anything. And it's been a great, fantastic experience, just reconnecting. And so my themes, people you meet by chance on the road. So this really wasn't by chance. I could probably figure a way to make it by chance. But so this
by chance for me, since he just said, hey, here it is.
There it works. Okay, that works. So now that qualifies. So I got him on my channel here, and it's been so great. And I'm gonna be heading out the door now and hitting the road. And today, going to pack up my stuff somewhere out in Green Swamp, and then I'm going to head down to Lakeland. And it's been so great stay meeting these folks and meeting Rick here and his brother. And they're both their wives. My brother, cousin Dave, and his wife Lynn, and Rick and his wife Belle, and just had a great time catching up. And it was just been an amazing experience. And I hope you guys like this, subscribe, all that good stuff, and see all my channels, my episodes here along the way. I'm be picking up the pace here. After this one you're looking at, I'll have a total of 29 on there. And then I'm looking to get 70 on the whole trip. I'm going, once I hit up to Jacksonville and see my sister in Georgia, then the last leg of my journey, I feel like I'm really about halfway. I got 8,800 miles, so probably looking at 16,000 for my trip. I'm going to head out through New Orleans, Austin, Texas, all that area. Then down, I want to go all the way down to Baja Peninsula in Mexico and back up, and then we'll figure it out. But my story, I got to pay out from my employer after 18 years, a year plus salary. And this I got rid of everything I own. So literally everything I own, I carry on my bike, but the rest of my gear is at my campsite. And that's about everything I own in life, folks. Got rid of everything, just total free. In fact, taking at least a year off or so, and no end time to this journey. And just I go where the road tells me, just hints along the way. I got a general course, but it's wide open, and so no schedule, stay where I want as long as I want. And like with these guys, been here for a few days, and then I'm headed out today, and I got to see my granddad, who was a colonel, lieutenant colonel in the Army, World War II and all that. I thought he was buried in Jacksonville, Florida. It turns out he's buried right up the road, 22 miles up the road, at the Florida National Cemetery. And I went there the day before yesterday, and an amazing experience. Over 150,000 military buried there. If you ever get an opportunity in that area, you should just go there and visit. Beautiful place, just markers as far as eyes can see. Just they take such a fantastic care of it. You get down Dade City, Florida, beautiful place in itself, but then head up north 22 miles, go to the Florida National Cemetery, or it's also called the Bushnell Cemetery.
Exit, yeah.
And get up there and see that, folks. So that was another special moment for me, a way to reconnect. And I'd never been to my granddad's gravesite, and because I was way out west when he passed. And so it was to go out there and see that was a special moment for me. So it's been an overwhelming experience for me to be here in Dade City and meet these great folks and the whole experience. Certainly appreciate you, Rick, and putting up with me and I ate them out of house and home, and
we enjoyed it. Well, we eat a lot anyway, so it works okay.
Okay, good deal, sir. And well, we'll be on the road again, and you guys tune in. Stay tuned for my next episode, wherever that is, with whomever I meet. And we certainly appreciate y'all. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.